Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bahati, and as you guys can tell, we are talking about moving to the States and how I did it. I'm basically just gonna be addressing some of the things that I wish I knew before I came here and just the overall process of moving. I will attach a few links down below, I guess credible websites that you guys can go to actually get like the most accurate, up-to-date information. If you are trying to move to the States, please go onto like the immigration site. They change things there all the time, and I do just want to put out like a really helpful video for those of you who are wondering about what it's like to live here or even move here if that's what you're considering. So I'm just going to give you guys my story and share some tips that I've learned along the way, and hopefully I help one or two of you. So yeah, let's not talk a lot, let's actually just get into this video. Alright, so before we get into all the deets, a lot of people ask why America? Why did I decide to come here? So I went to SCAD, which is the Savannah College of Art and Design. We had a career fair at our school where they came to visit. So they were kind of like just putting the name out there, and it's really stuck with me. I really just wanted to go to a creative school. In Kenya at the time, there weren't really that many schools that did that. Kenya is really traditional, so there are not that many schools that really focus on like the creative industry. As obviously the entertainment industry lives in the US. That's why I wanted to come here, is just because I just felt like, you know, if I'm there where all the action is, I'll probably learn a lot more and a lot faster. So yeah, that's why I decided to go. I tell Americans this story and they just get so shocked. They're like, what do you mean you just left to go to a different country? But I feel like it's kind of normal in Kenya to do that. Or maybe if you're from like a third world country, it's kind of normal to have like to try go after experiences outside. But for Americans, they find that like very crazy. So I mean, I don't know, it was fine. I dealt with it. At least I had like some family here, and I knew a bunch of my best friends were also coming to the States as well, so I didn't really feel like alone and stuff. I didn't really feel alone, you know? So basically I got accepted. Now I have to deal with immigration and the US embassy and all that stuff, which I don't know what the process is like, but 4 years ago I did have to have an interview with my parents or the people who were sponsoring me to go. It was just more or less them trying to see whether you're going there for the right reasons, you've been accepted to an actual school, because you know a lot of people try to get into the US illegally and with other means. So I think for them it's just more of like, are you going there for a legitimate reason? Because I know I get a lot of people asking how the interview went, and it's just, as long as you're going there for a legitimate reason, there's no reason for them to reject you. I don't work there. I don't know what the process is, but that's just my process. So I just went through an interview, had my parents, they showed their documents and things that show that you're going for a legitimate reason, and that's just about it. So adjusting to the States, there's a lot that I can talk about. I guess I'll start with like the cost of living. It really just depends on where you live. I'm really trying to give out information for anyone who's not specifically from Africa, but basically anywhere else in the world. You just really have to weigh what the cost of living is in your country versus the States. As an international student, the best way to kind of deal with the costs is by like really going for those scholarships. It's really hard to get financial aid from the government, and this is a way for the US to give loans to people who want to go to college who are US citizens. I don't know all the details, but with my school, the only thing I could do is apply for like lots and lots of scholarships to help like minimize the cost. Whatever country that you're from, you should really just analyze, all right, so if I go there, obviously I need to like pay rent or find a place to live. Is that sustainable for this amount of years? And let's say for me, I lived in a dorm for a year. It ended up being so expensive. It just didn't make sense, especially because I was sharing it with like roommates, and it didn't make sense financially for me to be spending that much money in the dorm. So I eventually moved out to somewhere that's way more affordable, and then I did more research and ended up moving somewhere else that was a little bit cheaper, because it's so important that you try and like minimize those costs. For me, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and as much as it's like a really buzzing metropolitan city, it's definitely like the least expensive city, because obviously places like San Francisco, New York, like Cali, like those are insane. Like rent can cost up to like $3,000 for like a tiny 1-bedroom, and you just have to think like, all right, what are my options? Because you can do roommates, you can have like specific living situations where you're living with a relative or stuff like that. So it's important you analyze how much that city is in general, because as much as living in New York sounds amazing, it's still overall really expensive. And also someone gave like a really great tip the other day and said like a lot of people who do live in New York don't even live in New York. So if you're thinking of actually like going to New York, try live in the surrounding areas and stuff like that. 90% of the jobs you can get are on campus. Just tuition, paying for everything yourself without an additional source of income is like extremely hard. So for me, what I did was, got a few jobs on campus. To put it straight, if shit hits the fan financially, because it obviously can, like economies change, like things might go really bad at home and your sponsors or your parents or whoever it is who is paying for your like education might not be able to have the right resources to pay. So there's something you can apply for through your school that can allow you to actually get an outside job. You still have to go to school full-time and then maybe work at night. So coming out of school and then having a job, part-time or whatever, it can be a little difficult. But I mean, at least the option is there that you can work if like things do hit the fan. But yeah, that's basically some of the options that the US gives you. But in general, I mean, it's a long process to get to that point, but you can't really find a job until after you graduate. I think all degrees offer you at least 1 year of like working experience, and working experience includes like you actually working like an American, like you make the same amount of money. You're basically having like a regular job for like about a year. So that's what I'm on right now, is what it's called OPT. So basically I get 1 year, 1 to 3 years working experience. The reason why it's about 2 to 3 years is because of the specific major or course that I took. So basically there's a whole list, and all this stuff is on the US like immigration site, but it's basically about like what degrees can allow you to work for an extended period of time, which is like 3 years. So my field, what I studied is considered STEM degree. So that just means that it's a little bit more technical. I studied branded entertainment, which is a crossbreed between like advertising, TV production, digital marketing, and all that stuff. So I guess the fact that it's like a new field that's emerging with like social media and like just digital marketing being like a huge part of our culture, it made it to like the STEM degree. So I think even before you go to the States, it's important to like kind of see, all right, if I get this degree, how long will I be able to work? I know you get a year for sure, but is there a way to like extend it to like almost 2 years? And maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't even want to work at all. Maybe you just want to study here, get the experience the culture, and then go back home. Like, it's all up to you and your goals. So yeah, I mean, that's basically, I don't know if I covered it all, but that's basically how I got to study here. I'm on an F1 visa. I came here as a student. I had to show that I was legitimately coming to study in the States. I also did feel like I really wanted to experience the working world and the working culture here, because it is really intense. And I've been working for the past 3 months now, and like the working culture here is insane. Like, people are constantly working. I just read a very interesting article about like the Millenial Burnout, which referenced a lot of what the American working culture is like. So if you guys want to have a read or understand what it's like, please have a read. It was so spot on about like how Americans, it's all about a to-do list. Everything is just like ticking off a checklist. But I do feel like it's growing me as a person. For the past 4 years, I've changed a lot. Like I said, all the information is on the immigration site, and I'll also leave other links that have helped me kind of figure out like my way around visas and all that stuff. But I hope this video helped one of you guys, or helped any of you if you are deciding to come to the States. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and comment. If you have any other tips that you'd like to share, please leave them down below. We're all a community here, like we all want to learn. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.